You guys see the title, you know why you're here. This next story is a true story. It should be used as an example of what are the possibilities when dating, visiting, or traveling around the world. Watch or listen to this while you're driving, cleaning, on the train, at the gym, or just getting things done. Grab yourself a drink or a snack. This is a story you don't want to miss. Stay until the end. This one is a banger. Here it goes. My name's Anders. I'm 41 years old, and I'm Scandinavian. I met my Filipina ex-wife, Natalie, on a dating site. Natalie is 38 years old. I went to visit her in the Philippines, and we fell in love. It was one of those whirlwind romances, you know? I work remotely, so once I saw how our relationship was developing and going in the right direction, I decided to move to the Philippines for some time. I figured, why not? Sunshine, a beautiful woman, a new adventure, sounded perfect. So I packed my bags, hopped on a plane, and landed in this tropical paradise. Natalie was attractive, and we had chemistry. The first few weeks were typical early bird love. We went out every night, had amazing bedroom fun, and got along pretty well. It was a nice change from being single for 2 years, and she was so attentive, always making sure I was comfortable. Always using sweet words like, my love. She was an expert. She knew what to say and when to say it for me to be wrapped around her finger. We got married pretty quickly. I was head over heels for her at the time, and she seemed just as into me. We had this small, intimate ceremony with a few of her friends and family. It was perfect, or so I thought. That's when all hell broke loose. Seriously, it was like someone flipped a switch. Before the wedding, everything was sunshine and rainbows, right? But after, it was a damn horror show. The first thing that threw me off for a loop was meeting Natalie's family, especially her son, Carl. He was supposed to be 18 years old. Right away, something felt off. He and Natalie acted weird. Too close, like way too close. They look at each other in this intense way and then clam up the second I walked into the room. It was like I was interrupting something. Then Carl moved in with us. No discussion, no hey, is this cool? Just boom, he's there, and it got worse. Natalie's parents and what she called her nieces and nephews showed up. Bags and luggage everywhere. I thought, okay, a couple of weeks they'll visit and go home, right? Nope. Natalie had apparently promised them they could live with us. And just like that, I was stuck with a house full of people I barely knew. I tried to talk to Natalie about it, but she just brushed it off. Family's important, she'd say, like I was some heartless monster. I get family, but this was insane. I was paying for everything. Food, rent, utilities, you name it. And these nieces and nephews, they were running wild, always asking for money, breaking stuff. It was like I was running a damn daycare, not a household. The whole vibe in the house was just off. There was this undercurrent of something I couldn't put my finger on. It felt like I was being played, but I couldn't figure out how. I started to feel like an ATM and just there to dispense cash whenever they wanted it. And Carl, he was always around, always watching. It was creepy. He'd sit in the corner staring at his phone, but I could feel his eyes on me. It was like he was sizing me up, waiting for something. I started to feel like a prisoner in my own home. I was starting to hate living there, and I started to resent Natalie. I was being taken for a ride. Every time I tried to have a conversation about the living situation, she'd deflect, change the subject, or just start crying. It was like she had a whole playbook of manipulation tactics. She would use the kids as a distraction or start talking about how hard her life had been and how much she appreciated me. It was a constant emotional roller coaster. The financial burden was also weighing on me. I'm not a millionaire. I work hard for my money, and seeing it disappear like that, it was stressful. I started to feel like I was losing my mind. I'd lie awake at night wondering what I had gotten myself into. I tried to tell myself it was just a cultural difference that I needed to be more understanding, but deep down, I knew something was seriously wrong. Guys, it felt like I was living a lie and that I was being watched every second of every day. The smiles felt fake, the compliments felt hollow, and the constant requests for money were like a slow death. I even started to doubt my own sanity. Was I just being paranoid? Was I reading too much into things? But the feeling of dread never went away. It was like a dark cloud hanging over me, a constant reminder that something was terribly wrong. I was in a beautiful place with a woman I thought I loved, but I never felt so alone. So like I said, I was feeling trapped, suffocated. I needed a break. I told Natalie I was going back to Europe to visit my family. I needed a breather. And conveniently, her parents and her nieces and nephews decided to go to the provinces at the same time. Perfect, right? Just Natalie and Carl left in the house. I was planning on being gone for a month, but honestly, I got bored. Europe was great, but I thought I missed Natalie, so I decided to cut my trip short and surprise her. I flew back 2 weeks early, and my plane arrived really late. I figured I'd walk in, give her a big hug, and maybe we'd have a nice night. I might get some action, you know? I got to the door, turned the key, and man, I wish I stayed in Europe. The lights were dim, and I could hear music playing and moaning. Not like someone was in pain. No. The other kind of moaning. I walked into the living room, and what I saw, I can't even describe it. Carl and Natalie, they were together, intimate. I yelled, "Hey, what the hell, dude? That's your mother." I was in shock. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. My mind was racing. Natalie jumped up, tried to cover herself, and just kept asking me why I came home early without calling. Like that was the problem. I was screaming at her, "You're sleeping with your own son?" And then she dropped the bomb. "He's not my son," she said. "He's my boyfriend." And then she said, "Those aren't my nieces and nephews. They're our children." And get this, Carl wasn't 18. He was 25. 25! I was paying for this guy's life, for his kids, for his whole damn family. I was livid. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach repeatedly. Everything clicked into place. The weird looks, the constant presence, the family moving in, it was all a setup. They've been playing me from the start. I was just a walking ATM, a way to get a visa, a ticket to a better life. I was so angry, so betrayed. I didn't know what to do, and I just wanted to disappear. I felt so stupid, so naive. I had been completely used. My heart was broken. My trust was completely shattered. I was in complete shock. Carl ran into the washroom, slammed the door, and I could hear him fumbling around in there. Natalie was still trying to talk to me, but I wasn't listening. I was enraged. I started throwing things, knocking over furniture. I was seeing red. I yelled at her, "How can you do this to me?" She just stood there looking at me with this cold, emotionless expression. It was like she was a completely different person. I felt like I was going to explode. I was feeling confused and angry at the same time. I had given her everything, and she had repaid me with lies and deceit. I felt like an idiot. Every moment of our relationship flashed before my eyes, and I saw it all in a new light. All the little things that had seemed off, the inconsistencies, the evasiveness, it all made sense now. I felt like I was living a nightmare. I couldn't believe this was happening to me. I felt physically ill. I was gasping for air. I felt like I was having a panic attack. I need to get out of there to escape the situation. I grabbed my keys and wallet, and I stormed out of the house, leaving Natalie standing there. I don't know where I was going, but I knew I couldn't stay there another minute. I kicked them all out. I changed the locks, packed my bags, and got the hell out of there. I couldn't stay in the house another minute. I found a hotel and just sat there, staring at the walls. I was trying to process everything. It was like trying to put together a puzzle with missing pieces. I had to deal with the legal stuff, divorce, canceling visas, all that crap. I hired a lawyer, which was a nightmare. The Philippines, man, it's a whole different world. Everything takes forever. And there's always some kind of bribe or fee. It was exhausting. I spent hours in stuffy offices filling out forms, waiting for appointments. It felt like I was trapped in a bureaucratic maze with no way out. Emotionally, I was a wreck. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. I kept replaying everything in my head, trying to figure out how I could have been so blind. I felt like such an idiot, like I said before. I trusted her. I loved her, and she just used me. I was angry, hurt, and completely lost. I felt like I couldn't trust any woman anymore, man. I called my family back home in Europe and told them what happened. My mother was devastated. She'd always been weary of Natalie, and I hadn't listened. Now I was paying the price. My father was furious. He called me a fool and a loser, and I should have known better. He blamed me for everything and said I was too trusting, too naive. It was like a slap to the face. I was already feeling like crap, and now my own family was kicking me while I was down. I tried to explain, to tell them how manipulative Natalie had been, but they wouldn't hear it. They just kept saying I should have been more careful, that I should have seen the signs. It was like they were blaming me for being a victim. I felt so alone, so isolated. I had no one to turn to. I told a few people what happened, and they were all surprised. Some of the expats I knew in the area had seen stuff like this before, but never this extreme. They told me stories of Filipinas marrying foreigners for money, for visas, for a better life. It made me feel a little less stupid, but not much. The people in the surrounding village were also shocked, and there was a lot of gossip. I had to deal with people asking me questions and looking at me with pity. It was like I was a walking cautionary tale, a reminder of what could happen if you weren't careful. I had to figure out how to get my life back on track. I had to deal with the money I lost, the time I wasted, the emotional damage. It was long, a slow process. I started working more, trying to keep myself busy, but the memories kept coming back like a bad dream. I was a broken man. It was hard to see a way out. I started drinking more than usual. I'd go to the local bar, try to drown my sorrows, but it didn't work. The alcohol just made me feel worse. I was angry, bitter, and resentful. I felt like I'd been robbed of my future, of my happiness. I started to withdraw from the world. I stopped going out, stopped talking to people. I just wanted to be left alone. I was in a dark place. I didn't know how to get out. I felt like I was drowning. There was no one to throw me a lifeline. It's been a while now, and I've had a lot of time to think, reflect about everything that happened. It's like you go to this paradise looking for love, looking for a fresh start, and you end up getting the rug pulled out from under you. It's a harsh lesson, but a lesson nonetheless. One thing I've realized is that a lot of us guys, especially the older ones, we go to places like the Philippines with these rose-tinted glasses. We're lonely, maybe a little lost, and we think we can escape our problems by finding a beautiful woman who will make us feel young and wanted again. But the truth is, your problems follow you wherever you go. If you're a loser back home, you're going to be a loser in the Philippines, in Thailand, anywhere. You can't run away from yourself. And let's be honest, some of us guys, we're not exactly Brad Pitt from Fight Club. We think we could make up for it by flashing our cash, by buying these women expensive gifts, by basically acting like a walking ATM, but that's not how you find real love, and it sure as hell ain't how you respect either. These women, they can smell desperation a mile away. They know how to play the game, how to say the right things, how to make you feel like a king, but it's all an act. They're not interested in you, they're interested in your wallet. So here's my advice to any guy thinking about dating in the Philippines or any other foreign country. First of all, have some self-respect. Don't throw your money around like it's going out of style, and don't let these women use you. You're worth more than that. Second, don't lead with your wallet. Lead with your personality, your sense of humor, your intelligence. Show these women that you're more than just a source of income. Show them that you're a good man, a man worth knowing. Third, if you're an older guy, don't try to relive your glory days. Don't try to buy love. It doesn't work that way. Find someone who loves you for who you are, not for what you can give them. And finally, if you're not exactly a looker, well, do something about it. Get in the gym, eat healthy, take care of yourself. Don't You don't have to be a bodybuilder, but you need to be presentable. Women are attracted to men who take care of themselves, who have confidence, who project an image of strength and vitality. Look, I know it's not easy. I know it's tempting to fall for the flattery, to believe the lies, but trust me, it's not worth it. You'll end up getting hurt just like I did. I'm not saying all Filipinas are bad. I'm sure there are plenty of good women out there, women who are looking for real love, not just a ticket to a better life, but you need to be careful. You need to be smart. You need to protect yourself. Don't be another victim. Make sure to check out my previous video right over here. And send over a story of your own that you'd like to be featured in the next video. Subscribe, share, like, and comment. My name's Roberto, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.